Yo, welcome back to another edition of Deuce's Wild. It's your boy Tristan, my boy Al.
What up?
Back on our bullshit, better than ever. So what we got on the docket today?
I actually want to take a quick detour. Just to say congrats on the new gig. And I was messing with you a second ago. I was like, oh, you must be doing more than just, something legal. You got the nice whip. So then I was thinking, why is it whenever somebody you know is doing well, you may immediately, give them the backhanded compliment instead of just being like, yo, that's what's up. That's good for you.
I think it's just based off what you know about the person. If you know somebody to I don't know how that pertains to me. It's just a joke. But if you know somebody or you know the job that they're doing, and you're like, that doesn't equal that car or that lifestyle. What are you doing, bro? Do we gotta just let me know? Or plausible deniability. Don't tell me what the fuck you're doing. It's either way. So I think that's probably why. Other than that, you're just being racist. It's probably coming from a white person.
I was just gonna say maybe it's a person automatically measuring themselves to you.
That could be it too.
Like, oh, so-and-so's doing something, like, appears to be doing something like really good.
Yeah.
Well, damn, what am I doing?
You know what's funny about that? People do that. People say, don't compare yourself to somebody else. But when you are hard on yourself and you're down because you didn't do something or something didn't fall through the way you want to, they'll start bringing up other people in their lives and how they overcame. And it's like, okay, but am I measuring up or not?
That's a good point. I thought about that way.
You're picking and choosing when to do this thing. I do look around and I'd be like, what the fuck is going on with me? But then it's at the same time, like when rules and shit is made up or people are doing certain things that I may not rock with, I'm like, that shit ain't right for me, so I don't care.
So you would say more, like, the way I'm interpreting that, at least what I'm hearing is like, because I'm confident in myself, if someone's, doing good for them, that doesn't necessarily mean I automatically have to compare my life to theirs because they got something new and shiny or something's changed in their lives.
Exactly. Your life, your happiness shouldn't be dependent on somebody else's. So whatever you're doing, you should already be cool with it. Like, even if you are struggling, but you got a plan, be cool with that. You got a plan. If you ain't got shit going on for yourself, and you might be caught in those moments where fans play, I'm just messing up all my words. Plans fail, and then you just be like, okay, now what do I do? And when you're stuck in those moments, it can seem just desperate.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, man. I think that especially if you're in that moment and you're not already doing what you really want to do, you're like, damn, I'm not even following my dream, and I'm struggling just to get by.
Yeah, my dreams are seem a little far-fetched from this standpoint, but I feel like they're attainable if you just focus. Like, everybody has a story where they overcome something great. You brought up Jeremy Renner and his sacrificing. I read that shit, and a little bit outlandish. Somebody's lying. A budget of $10 a month for food.
I was thinking, like, wow, how does he doing that?
He is a built dude. And if you're just eating noodles every night, you're not gonna look like
super
that.
Skinny then or something. Or maybe he has good genetics. I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, I do know that we only know him because I watched a movie of him the other night, the Jeffrey Dahmer joint, that I didn't even know he made. And I'm like, you got Jeremy Renner to do this? This must be a decent movie. And it was not a bad movie. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. And I actually watched it from front to back. I usually don't do that. Like, movies and shit, I will get up and walk away, fall asleep if it's not good enough for me.
Right.
Like, if it doesn't keep my attention. And for this movie, I actually paid attention. I actually dig the serial killer type of genre anyway.
Was he playing Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Picking up young boys and everything.
Oh.
The whole deal. And I was like, oh, and he was believable because they made him look like him with the glasses and the messy hair. Just the whole deal, they made him look like him.
All right.
Seemed believable. That's the biggest thing with me, entertainment, man. If I don't believe it, I'm turning that shit off.
So that's why maybe you always had a thing with certain stars who are, like, really recognizable. If they have a very distinct voice, very distinct mannerisms, you're like, that's just you. You're not
Will Smith playing Ali. You just Will Smith saying Ali things. And you sound horrible because Ali is a difficult man to imitate. Because it's not just the cartoonish way he spoke. It's the things he would say and how he would say them. And to be a man who's not educated but still be bright, that's something you need to be able to capture. I was watching the OJ joint, the OJ Simpson Kardashian publication. Production with Cuba Gooding Jr. Yeah. To me, it's very apparent that this is Kardashian influence because Rob Kardashian just looks like the angel who looks at him and is like, I don't know if he's my friend. And I'm like, bro, you was there. You was down with him. But I'm looking at the fact that Chris Darden, who was played by Sterling K. Brown, did a good job.
Did a great job, yep.
Sarah Paulson played Marsha Clark. Mm-hmm. She did a great job. Yep. She's one of my favorite actors.
She's fire.
And Courtney V.
Angela Bassett's husband?
They would just call him that. Angela Bassett. Yeah. He did a great job being Johnny Cochran. Yeah.
He's a beast actor.
He's a beast sometimes.
He's like,
Love Country was a struggle.
You didn't like him in Love Country?
I didn't like Love Country.
What?
It was too all over the place.
Okay, let me. So you mean like just how they were kind of moving the story around?
Yes, okay. that was it for me. It scrambled me in a way that I just felt I didn't feel any interest to it anymore. There was a couple episodes I was like, that was fire, especially when they cut to like poems or James Baldwin speak. That's right, James Baldwin speaking. I loved that, but just like the whole story of how the thing went, I was just like, okay, I know Lovecraft Country, the origin story, like. Back in the day, the whole I think it was Lovecraftian type of literature. I understood that, but I didn't like the way they just bounced around. I thought that maybe they did that because they were trying to tell different tales. But I'm trying to watch a program for its comprehension, and that wasn't it.
I got the sense, I get what you're saying from that show. I got the sense from watching it that sometimes, like, they don't know if they'll ever get like a second season. So they want to like, we're going to try to get as much of the story out as we want. Yeah. But I feel you like some parts you're kind of, in the story you're like, well, we have like too many things happening at one time.
Too many, bro. And I'm just like, I can't do this. Like I'm great with multitasking and being all over the place. But with that, you got to have something linking the other one to the other. And they did, but not enough.
It was kind of like the arc which I liked it, but when the mom kind of went off and did her own like sort of journey of self-discovery, I was like, oh. That's cool.
And Journey got that overacting thing, and I don't like it. Like
what? You don't like her acting?
She overacts. Very much like Terrence Howard and Taraji Henson. Like she overacts.
Wait a minute now. I won't tolerate the Taraji slander.
She overacts. I'm sorry.
Wait. Give me an example. Don't say Baby Boy.
If you
everybody overacted at Baby Boy.
It's Baby Boy. It's Benjamin Button, is everything she's in. You put her in, you know what brand of acting you're going to get, and it's over the top. And there's nothing wrong with that if you got a character who is over the top that she's playing. And I assume that every character she's playing, it must be an over the top personality because that's who she is every time. She's no Regina King. Regina King is my favorite actor, period, probably right now. Because every time she does something, she leaves me saying, damn, she did that.
She's also fire.
Yeah.
She
was the Boondocks. Think about that. Both of those voices were her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super talented.
Oh, yeah. A lot of range. Yeah. I don't know. Interesting. Terrence Howard, I can get.
Bro, I can't do the man.
I love it.
Nah, man.
I love it.
It's like, Batman,
I like
man.
To me, he's like Owen Wilson. He's the same person in every movie.
He's a black Owen Wilson. I don't want to see him either. Him and that broken nose. Something wrong with that thing. Break it back in place.
I'm like, at this point, you are a very rich man. You can get it fixed if you want to.
I guess this is his brand.
Probably his brand.
Broken nose.
It's like, I've got like the flawed handsome thing going on.
I always got my ass whooped last week.
But I'm back. Wow.
Wow.
But one thing, I know we got off topic, but one thing you mentioned earlier about, you say people don't compare yourself to someone else, but it's hard for you not to do that if you're not in a place that you want to be. And that makes me think in a way about one of the things on the docket, the King Richard movie. Not the movie itself. I thought the movie was great. I thought Will Smith did a great job. I like the fact that they gave like the perspective of the parents.
Mm-hmm.
Because in both parents, they didn't like just have the mother in the background. Like I like the fact that they made her like a 3-dimensional character, where she was supportive, but at times they clash. To me, the dialogue she gave was like something I'd actually hear like a wife say to her husband, especially a black woman, like, "Yo, you do this shit by yourself. We're a team."
Yeah.
I like that because I think it humanizes people at this point who seem so far from reality for the regular person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the regular person may have a hard time sort of comprehending, if you told a story from them being superstars, you're like, well, yeah, they're superstars. They're always been that great.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of like, oh, wait, no, they had like a lot of struggle they had to go through. Essentially, the family banded together for, at least from the movie's perspective, for a larger goal.
Yeah.
Against very insurmountable odds. I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah, it was a good movie. There was some... Okay, so King Richard Williams is a remarkable man from the standpoint that this man wrote down an 85-page plan that he had for his daughters, and the shit came true. That's
manifestation
crazy.
for your ass.
He took a lot of shit trying to get them to where they are because from what I understand, he moved from Michigan to Compton, California because he wanted his girls to have some grit.
I didn't know that. Oh.
So, I mean, he wasn't a man of means either way, but living in the hood in L.A. is a lot different than living in the country or the suburbs,
True.
rural area of Michigan. So he wanted that grit for his girls, protected those girls every step of the way.
Yep.
Leveraged every relationship for those girls. And I appreciated that. He lived for them. But the criticism that's falling on it, I can see where it's coming from. It's coming from this Me Too thing where why would you tell the story when the stars are the girls, why would you tell the story about the father? It's like you're trying to go around trying to talk about two young women and you want to talk about a man.
But it's impossible. It would be impossible to tell their story
Without him.
Without, like, he's a key, him and his wife are
Without
a key
him,
piece.
he rubbing people the wrong way along the way. Like, he didn't give a fuck. He was like, these girls are going to be what I want them to be, what I see for them, regardless of how you feel about it.
Right.
And education comes first. They won't play because they're good enough already. I already know they're good enough. Why do they need to play? Very LeBron-esque in that sense where high school, well, we're going to the pros.
This is a girl man in 12th grade.
In 12th grade, dunking on people. Like, think about that. LeBron is our age. And in 2003, when we graduated high school, I couldn't even get a letter for football. And this dude is a grown man playing a man's game. So that's kind of a sidebar to the topic of Serena and Venus, bro. Like, you gotta tell the origin story, and the origin comes from him.
And I think, and while he was the focal point of the film, I still think they did a good job showing, like, it may have come off as ego to the outside. Maybe there was a bit of ego to it.
Oh, come on, man. Like,
but
there's no greatness without an ego. I'm so tired of people wanting somebody to be humble for them. Like, people should be humble for themselves. I'm not going to be humble for you.
What do you think that comes from? Like, in the sports, since like you're like a big sports aficionado, what do you think that sort of
envy,
ethos of like
envy,
need to be humble? Real,
It's envy. Every time that a fan says they need to be like this or that, I don't like all that showboating shit. I don't like them seeming happy. Like, they understand that they're getting millions of dollars for playing a game that they would love to play or would love to just be able to play. So therefore, you're envious and you're always going to have harsh criticism. If someone was humble all the time and didn't say anything, you call them boring.
Dak Prescott.
Boring.
That's what people say. Like, he always says the right thing.
That's quarterbacks in the NFL, though. Very few of them are Colin Kaepernick and
True.
Speak their mind. They always say the right thing because in that sport, it's not about the individual. It's about the plantation.
Aaron Rodgers does buck the trend.
He's white. The white quarterback is the one that can get away with it.
He's also very good.
But the white quarterback usually doesn't step outside that line. Aaron Rodgers was kind of forced into it because we asked him a correct question and he lied. And we found out that he lied. And then you started hearing all that crackpot theory shit.
Oh, I meant just about him being more, like, outside of the mold of the traditional quarterback.
Aaron Rodgers
just being a bit more vocal about his belief in his abilities.
Not really.
You
It's all safe shit. It's all safe. It's all safe white shit. Like, you can say those things, but you can't. He's not coming out here and being very direct about the role of the police in black neighborhoods because A, he doesn't know, and B, he'll never say those types of things. He just says a lot of vague, radical shit. Nothing that's direct. He ain't out here LeBron James, and he can't because this is not the NBA where LeBron James runs the league.
True.
So, which is with the whole China situation. I feel like you're asking a black man to advocate for Chinese government and Chinese citizens, and that's the wrong idea. Just because he makes money in China or China makes money off him, however that relationship goes, don't mean that man got to speak for the Chinese people. That's a whole different country and a whole different situation. You can speak about the human rights of it, but I mean, for what? For whom or for what? How is that going to change anything? China ain't going to stop kicking it the way they're kicking it because LeBron James is mad about it. Or whatever other American star is mad about it.
True.
They don't give a fuck about their own people. They will make you disappear like they made that little Chinese girl disappear.
Oh, the tennis star?
Yeah.
I mean, all right. I guess to answer, like, at least my thought on, like, why people put so much pressure on LeBron is probably because, at least in this country, we're in that moment where not everybody, some people choose to be vocal and use their media sway to, speak out.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, all right, well, you got to be on brand. What do you think about this? I think, he said his thoughts. I think it's wrong. It's not right, yada, yada. I forget. Wasn't it also like a coach, San Antonio's coach? Or I forget the coach who also kind of.
Yeah. Greg Popovich.
Yeah. So,
he's white, though.
But, like to your point, China was like, you know how rich we are? You know what we do over here? We will do whatever we want.
Daryl Morey was the one who kicked it all off. He was like, he's showing support for Shanghai and speaking against the Chinese government. And they immediately, he pulled all that shit off Twitter. He immediately backpedaled because he understood the whole league is mad at me. I need to fix this.
They're mad at you messing up the money. That's a huge market.
And the owner, I don't think, ever forgave him for it, and probably made the work situation difficult. So he felt like he had to leave. Like he retired, he resigned, said he's retiring or taking a step back, and the next year he's in Philly. Like,
yeah, man, you can't mess with that machine. Like,
no.
You can have your views, but to your point, that you were making before, as long as it's safe, okay. But as long as you're not rocking the boat, messing with the dollar bills, we'll let it slide.
I feel like we should be able to. Like, I feel like the NBA would go a long way if they would say, fuck you, China. We're going to make money regardless. We'll pull your money.
That's a huge market,
We'll
though.
pull the NBA out of it. I know.
I don't know if they're bigger than the U.S. market, but they're pretty big. They're like number 2 in terms of like their revenue or something.
But the NBA is an American product, right?
True.
Based in America. We believe in human rights, supposedly.
As long as we don't mess up the money.
Especially the NBA, where you out here acting like we're there for the activists during the bubble. We're gonna put all the little sayings on the court and on the players' back of their jerseys. Then why don't you stand up to China? You're gonna get your money. You're gonna miss a lot of it, but you're still gonna get enough of it.
Hey man, at the end of the day, it's the dollar bill.
Yep, that's all it is. It's about money, and I don't blame them because I want the money too. Goddamn it.
Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of that's in the topic I want to talk about later. That kind of centers in that piece.
For sure.
But I guess with the King Richard thing, that's good perspective. I guess the thing I sent you were it was getting a few critiques, kind of what you're speaking to about the whole why you're focusing on the father, and I was wondering, like, is it because some people who make those critiques are so locked into like whatever their talking points are,
Of course,
or because in their personal lives they maybe don't see like that kind of commitment from a family, a father, like. These girls are my focal point. Granted, he wasn't the best father for all his kids, but that's another story.
People are so locked into their way of thinking, their ideologies, and who they are on social media that regardless of what's being shown to them, they'll find their talking point in it.
Yeah.
Now, to me, you do a movie, like, at the end of the day, this movie has to be entertaining, too.
Right.
You do a movie just about the sisters. You're talking about just 2 rich tennis stars who... as adults, they may come off to you like what we're talking about, like how fans be like, oh, whatever, all that arrogance, ego, lifestyle, whatever.
Right.
You get paid millions of dollars. That's all you're going to see if we don't talk about King Richard at all. Right. And who's going to watch the movie? Who's starring in that movie?
Ooh.
Because we got Will Smith for this one, and that's a draw.
Exactly. Yeah.
So who's starring in that movie? Who's being Serena and Venus so much that you can sit down and watch it?
I don't know, man.
Who's going to look like Serena Williams?
I don't know if you could find two actors that have that athletic look who could also be very powerful. I don't know.
Issa Rae can play Venus. She's not tall enough.
Issa Rae,
she's got a long body. She's got a long, lengthy body. And we got to talk about bodies, people. And I know a lot of people be like, "Why are we talking about bodies?"
Important.
It's important with athleticism.
Especially
what people look like.
One of the things that people did credit Will Smith for was that at least he kind of looked like imposing.
Exactly. Even if he wasn't dark enough.
Right.
But, colorism. But he still acted his ass off.
He did.
He gave you a Shreveport, Louisiana, accent.
Didn't break it once.
Without sounding stupid. Like a lot of people, when they try to imitate the accent, they end up sounding like dumb and making you sound cartoonish. And he did. A lot of people in Louisiana sound cartoonish. But he didn't do that. Like, he sounded like it was believable. And I love, like, when you give me the illusion that it's real.
Yeah.
That was his best performance to me in imitating someone else.
I don't know if I can argue with you. I don't.
Because that Ali shit, you can keep that shit.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. I like the attempt.
Jamie Foxx outshined him in Ali as the boxing coach.
Jamie Foxx is an amazing actor too, though.
And he's an amazing imitator. Like, he can look at you, imitate you in like 15 minutes. Like, the whole, he did. Like, he does with Stephen A. Smith, even though Stephen A. Smith is a character that you can imitate over and over.
Yeah. Well, all about the dollar. It makes no qualms about it. He's all about success. He's got that immigrant mindset. Yo, I'm about success. I'm not going to forego my ultimate goal for whatever thing that gets in the way that isn't helping me.
Isn't helping me. It's just distraction at the end of the day.
Thank you. I couldn't think of the word.
Yeah, I was in your mind for a moment there. I was like, distraction.
Hey, man. I'm one of those people who definitely thinks as you're talking, like the idea comes to fruition as I'm speaking about it.
It's all about inception. When I tell you, perception is reality.
But I think, I guess the last thing I'll say about it is the interesting point about people having issues with athletes being arrogant. That's a good point, because I think most people don't know what it's like to be the best at whatever it is you do, or consider one of the best.
And that's the thing about it. Like, they love comparing. Like, I can't do that at my job, bro. You are not the top 5. What do? You're an accountant. You're not the top 5 accountants.
Bro, if you were the
top
best
5%
accountant
of accountants
in your company, you could get a lot.
You could
more
shit
leeway
on people.
You could do a lot.
You can Jeffrey Epstein a lot of people.
I wouldn't recommend it, but yeah.
In today's world, Jeffrey Epstein, I think, could have got away with what he was doing, because I feel like a lot of people are getting away with what he's doing right now.
And with the whole underage girl trafficking?
Yes. I think that's bigger and more prevalent in this country than people know. And the reason why you don't know is because people don't talk about it. Like, shit is not broadcasted. Like, think about, like, the sexual offenders list. Like, that shit isn't broadcasted. Like, I don't even know where to find it.
You can't look it up.
You can't look it up, but right now, at this time, like, it's not like it's some big thing where I already know. It's not like some big thing where I'm all on the list every day and I know who around me. Like, you don't know that. You probably don't want it. Or you probably should know. But if you found out, you'd be uncomfortable as fuck.
Because I got one of those credited monitoring services, and one of their features is like they'll kind of list that information or get you notifications. And you're like, you kind of get a little. I'm like, damn, so how many people who've kind of, in fairness, I don't know like the details. It could have been something as simple as I peed in a bush around in the children over there. Somebody said, "Oh my God," and then like you have a case, and then they. But to your point, it's like, damn, is that X number of people like in a certain vicinity of like your home? I'm like, ooh, unsettling.
I get caught up in rabbit holes on the internet, and you got to be careful about where it comes from, because you got a lot of. It's like the liberals are catching a lot of heat for this. Liberals are and I got to be careful that it's not conservatives or QAnon people on the internet trying to further the Pizzagate thing. They're talking about Tom Hanks being a leader of a sex trafficking. Yeah, it's a lot of weird shit, and it's because
Forrest Gump?
he posts these weird pictures, these very cryptic pictures. It's just like a picture and a caption that's like oh, it's like an inside joke or inside saying, and then like they're picking out in the picture little child pedophilia symbols, like the hearts and all that, the butterfly. Like watch Law and Order, bro. Like they'll teach you about all that shit about.
I don't want to. This sounds terrible, man.
And if you pay attention, like those little symbols are hidden in places, and you be like, okay, I know that this could be a coincidence because it's the internet, and people get fooled on the internet every day. But if this is true, why would this symbol be there randomly?
I don't know. I have no context.
I just,
You're saying like once you kind of like have an idea of what this is, and you start seeing it in places where like, wait, that doesn't really fit.
It doesn't even feel like I can see if it was just a coincidence, but why would this coincidence be here? Like you gotta, like even with coincidences, there needs to be, I'm losing the words as I speak. Just like it's a rough morning.
That's cool.
It's like you're losing, like you're not getting the context of why this is a coincidence.
So. And those,
or how this is a coincidence. It's just there, and it's like, why would that just be there?
Like that's an odd thing. Like it's one of those things hiding in plain sight.
And I keep seeing the same things in all your pictures. Like it's not a coincidence anymore. It's a pattern.
Is it possible that it could mean something completely different, and it just happens to be this other thing that looks very like it?
Okay. Yes, that's what I'm. I mean, but if I keep
videos
seeing,
are convincing.
Yeah,
I've seen like not that, but I've seen the ones not convincing. They really give a level of detail where if you're not like really paying attention to what they're saying, you're like, oh, wait a minute, this might be a thing.
Now, one thing that was kind of spooking me was, I'm throwing product names out there. I don't know if I should do this, but Wayfair, they had a thing where they were selling these lockers, right?
Okay.
It's like a storage locker, but I gave it a name, like a girl's name or a child's name.
Okay.
And then if you look that name up, it was the name of a missing child. And those lockers will be like $5,000, $8,000, like completely overpriced.
Okay.
And what they were saying was they're overpriced because you're not actually buying a locker. They're cryptically selling children.
Wait, okay. So I'm going to repeat, not to make sure I'm understanding. So like the people are alleging that like Wayfair has overpriced things that the average person is just not going to be realistically able to afford.
And they shouldn't even be priced at. So they're priced at a market value.
You're like, why would you pay that much for something like that? Okay. And the names they choose are names of missing people or kids.
Missing children.
So that, like, are they alleging that a person who's into, like, that stuff can order a kid from Wayfair? Is that what they're saying?
Exactly. And the president of Wayfair at the time, I don't know if he stepped down or whatever happened to him, he came from another company where he left because he was suspected of pedophilia or sexual abuse.
Ooh.
So it's I don't know how to navigate that world because I don't know, but just be careful, bro. Just be careful, man. The internet is out here and it will fool you. I think that a lot of that stuff may not be true. I think that a lot of that stuff it might be propaganda, but I'm not in a place to know right from wrong or left from right from that shit. I don't know. The internet fools me every day, bro. Back when I was on dating sites, I used to get catfished all the time. I'm not the brightest when it comes to like I've learned some tricks of the game, but people still get you on the internet. It's a lot of lies.
Catfish to the extent to where it's just she doesn't look like her picture, or we're talking like this is a dude.
Oh no.
You get that like, hey man, what's up? Bro? What the fuck?
No, I have a certain amount of parameters for that.
I need the video on. Wave your arm.
On. Show me your neck. How tall are you? Because height is a thing for me.
I always assume like shorter guys or guys in smaller stature like tall women.
I like tall women. They're yeah.
Because I feel like and tall girls mess with short guys. I think like they don't say they do, but I'm like
my woman is taller than me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just that you got to be careful when they're 5'9", 5'10", and 5'11", when they're man equivalent.
Like, wait, don't see those hands.
Right.
Oh, okay, that's some strong forearm.
I got a filter situation here. I need to make sure you see a neck. Baby pictures. You got baby pictures? I need a background check on this person. How much is that? Yeah, I need all of that.
Oh, that's funny.
I need
How much can you bench?
Can I bench?
No.
Yeah. You thought you was trying to challenge me.
300?
No. Why would you?
I don't know too many.
What type of hormones in you?
I was like, even world-class athletes have a rough time doing that.
Exactly. I don't bench 300 anymore.
You probably, you don't really mess with the weights anymore. You probably still up there.
I mean, closer to 300, but definitely not 300. Not today. I don't even want to.
I mean, I don't know.
I feel like that's the reason why I got hurt so many times. All I got there lifting. I'll never do it again. I really don't even like working out anymore. It's not even something that I enjoy. Like, I remember that was my thing.
Yeah.
Not anymore. It's more of a...
maintenance thing now?
Maintenance, and if I need to get my mind off something, I know I always have that. Like,
do you think for you, because it was such a big part of your life, it's just like, unless you do something that's very different than what you're used to doing, it'll seem like a chore to you?
No, because once you're in the zone, once you start doing it, it's like kind of innate. It's just the getting up and going to go do it, doing it every day, feeling like you're caged to it. I kind of am. I'm cursed because I don't know about you, like being active all of that time in my childhood and in my early adulthood, that now it's kind of like if I don't, my body falls apart.
Oh, my body's falling apart.
Like piece after, like not just like body, like how you feel, but actually how it functions.
No, like physically, like my body, like shoulder, back, knees.
Like,
I need to
it's
get
hard
back
to walk if I don't work out and keep my shit lubricated. But like not even that, like vitals, like it's bad. Like if I don't work out, like things, blood work and all that shit don't come back right. Yeah.
Wow.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen at some point. Like I got to do something.
Steroids are you doing?
No, you can't just stop. You can't just stop. You can't just stop. You are addicted. Like not addicted, but you are a prisoner of it. Like your body is only right when I'm doing this thing.
That's interesting. I've never heard that perspective of it.
I remember, our coach, high school coach back in the day, told me that shit, and I didn't take nothing of it because it was a coach that we didn't really respect very much. But he was like, I was like, well, you still working out? I see you looking, you know what I'm saying? You still benching everything. He's like, I got to at this point. If I don't, my body falls to shit. I didn't think nothing of it until I'm now probably around his age then. And yeah, if I don't do it, it's like,
I guess
even my mood, because I'm a moody person.
I am too.
And I feel better about myself if I'm doing shit. Like when I'm unemployed, I'm the worst person to be around. The worst person to be around. Because I'm not doing shit.
I feel you. Yeah.
I'm not being productive.
Like it's cool for a small amount of time to get a break and just be able to relax and kind of do whatever you want. But then at some point you're like, I need
a routine. Like I need somebody to to evaluate me. I need numbers to come in. Like numbers is the biggest thing for me. Like when I'm between bank statements, different accounts, and just like exercise apps, like I just look at numbers all the fucking time. And I measure those numbers against yesterday and the day before and the week before. So it's a big thing. It's most of my time on my phone is spent doing that or looking up like random facts. I'm not really a big social media guy. It's enough about me though.
I mean, no.
How about you, Al?
I'm not a person in the moment that talks about myself. I got to think about it. Yeah, I don't know. About fitness, it was not something I ever enjoyed.
Yeah.
Clearly. I would have, if it was something I liked doing that happened to be active, yeah, that was fun. Now, with the routine I have, it definitely has fallen by the wayside. But to your point, I'm noticing actual difference in mood and body. Like just, what's that? I used to use that term all the time. Not mechanics. Functional stuff. Yeah, just kind of notice like, oh man, I've been sitting at this computer like all day, like doing work, writing code or whatever, and my shoulders like almost like frozen in place.
You work from home?
Yeah, been working from home since March of last year because essentially the company's like they can't make people come in.
And the thing with the coding thing, I think it's a lot like looking at a spreadsheet because I used to do a lot of spreadsheet work, and you get bogged down those numbers, those cells, and you keep going. You get in a rhythm. You got to get up and walk around.
I forget. I've got like a little thing on the watch. I'm like, hey, you should get up and move. But sometimes I'm in the middle of something. I'm on a client call. I'm helping somebody do something.
Yeah.
Some days I may not take more than 1,000 steps.
I can see that to be really annoying because your job's already tedious and takes a lot of focus, but then you got to give your focus to people too. That's annoying. I wouldn't. I could imagine you being frustrated with that.
Lately, it's funny you say that. Lately, I have been like, I'm spending all this time like consistently, like 11, 12, 13 hours a day working.
Mm-hmm.
All this attention. There's like all these different things I'm having to do. Like I literally am probably doing like 15 to 20 different concurrent things every day, like just work related. And at the end of that, like you're so mentally spent. Like the things I want to like work more on the podcast. I want to like work on like our marketing stuff. I want to do other things. I'm just drained. I get irritated because I'm like I don't have like any energy left.
And then you have family that you have to focus on too.
Like get on my face, kids.
Not at all. Or wife. Like you have to keep all that shit moving smoothly.
Yep.
And for me, I have a lot of things creatively that I want to do too. But I'm hustling. Like I got 2 gigs. I've had 2 gigs since.
I know Tony Soprano.
I've had at least 2 jobs, and some points 3 jobs for the past 8 years, and I don't think I've had a vacation just because some of my jobs really are just a hustle, and you don't work, you don't eat type of situations. No PTO. Me moving into this new role, it's probably going to be another 6 months before I can even think about a vacation. But the vacation I have been eyeing, though, is a trip to Morocco. I really want to go to Morocco.
Why Morocco? I mean, it looks beautiful in the pictures. I've never been to Morocco, but
Morocco. I was thinking Morocco or the Ivory Coast. The Ivory Coast because it's close to Liberia, and Liberia is
it's a little rough right now in Liberia.
I know, but I'm enamored with it being an African American country, so to speak.
Right.
But I wanted to do the Ivory Coast or the Morocco, just because Western Africa is beautiful.
Okay.
And I want to check it out, but COVID is a motherfucker. And I think 8 countries in Southern Africa just got on the ban list or the travel restriction list. So got to be patient with all this COVID shit.
Yeah, man. You have to, that's what I was thinking.
I'm starting to not trust these fucking vaccines either. You got people getting COVID, and every time they say they get COVID, it's a breakout case. But it's a bunch of them.
I mean, it's all... The only thing I can say is it's evolving. Like
now it's Omicron, which sounds like a robot.
Yeah,
Omarion, exactly.
I'm like, okay, black people. I know we like to have fun, but let's not make a deadly disease a joke.
I mean, it's just a joke. The way first. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm gonna go back to China.
Omicron, you fucked up for killing Optimus in the movie.
And I want to go back to China.
Oh boy. This is where we get banned, folks.
I'm not calling it a Chinese virus. I'm not. I'm just saying it originated in your country. And it originated in your country in a way that I feel like wouldn't have happened if you had your shit together. Like, you need that. There needs to be better regulations with respects to the way your food is stored and what is shitting or whatever. However it happened, I think it came from a bat feces and somebody got, like, this needs, I just feel like, and then you found out, like, you knew about it. From what I understand, what I read, I could be fooled on the internet again. But from what I read, someone knew about it and tried to bring it up and you hushed them. And I just feel like that's negligence.
Oh, is that the doctor they alleged, like, started to talk about it and then he just vanished?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what I'm talking about, like, no, I'm not blaming every Chinese person for this thing, but somebody is responsible.
Stop the Asian hate, Trisha.
That
led to people getting socked out.
I love Asian people. Southeast Asian people, Southwest Asian people, all Asian people. I love them. But as far as...
it's like, I love these people, but
oh, the standards in which your government operate ain't got nothing to do with the people. The government is separate from the people. Like here in America, like we don't. It's the people and it's the government. Like we understand that. So if we can understand that, then you can understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. Not you, Al. I'm saying the people. I'm talking about government and processes and the way things are handled, policy. I feel like there needs to be some accountability, and there isn't. Like we just are now dealing with this crisis, and China is out here acting wild.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a fair point or fair like perspective. I guess like what would you really do in that? Like I guess like if you're the other countries in the world and you all, let's say it's irrefutable proof that it wasn't intentional, but it happened. You couldn't like they didn't take the proper steps to like.
You're the richest country right now. You got all the bread. Like you need to take some culpability. Like you're in a United Nation like situation. You're not just a nation acting on its own. You're not a rogue nation. You're too big for it. You're a superpower. You need to be super responsible, and they're not. It's like everything you bring up to them. I think everyone's afraid of them because they do hold everybody by the balls. Everybody's indebted to China, so they're allowed to do and say what the fuck they want to. But that's not. I mean. Is that the way we're going to keep kicking it? Because
we got the biggest dick in the room. You can do what you want.
We had a president like that, and we got him up out of here. So what do we stand for? We literally got Trump up out of here. Trump kind of got himself up out of here, but we got him up out of here. We took away some of his rights to freedom of speech. We had to. It's okay.
Took away his rights. I mean,
the man should have a Twitter account. Like you could just ignore that man.
But when it'd be different if he was just Donald Trump, the like eccentric, erratic, billionaire or whatever his.
He's not even a president anymore. I don't see the harm in him having a.
But and he's like at least when he was in that role and he was like making tweets that were directly impacting markets or directly making like geopolitical movements happen.
Oh yeah,
it's like you can't move like that.
That made sense to me. Like as long as he's being a president or whatever, you restricting his access. That made sense to me because you're not just a regular citizen anymore. Like everything you do has more complications and more ramifications. I understood that, but once he became a citizen, I don't think that he should still have that taken away.
But social media platforms are allowed to say like they can just they're not obligated.
They're private, right?
Not a right.
They're private run companies,
right? You don't have a right to use.
That's true.
Company.
That's true. That's a good point.
I get like the critique that people are like, well, you're censoring people who are more. On the conservative side, though, I would say he's at least that character.
It's the slippery slope thing.
Yeah, it can be.
So when a black person is getting up and he's saying shit, are we going to rip away his?
Well, depends on the black person. Is he because I hate saying this, but it's a valid point. What is that black guy really a person affecting with their words?
Not much, because the power isn't really there.
What is Reggie, who sells loose squares on the corner? What is him? Fuck these gays. But, like, what is he really? What is that doing?
But let's say we did have an activist who garnered so much power that he made shit move when he spoke. But you would need more than just 12% of the population, and that's what African Americans hold right now. So you would need to move the needle with some white people, with some Asian people, Asian Americans, with some Latin Americans. Like, you would need to move a lot of needles to be able to garner that type of power.
You could, I mean, this is, we get into like a circular conversation, but I feel like at some point you could argue with all of the, even though like the number percentage-wise isn't that great in terms of like the population, you could argue that if there was like a collective sort of goal or agenda that like literally lockstep everybody on board with, things would move because you would then include those who have levels of power and access, and then have the numbers behind them support them.
Yeah.
But to your point, or to the point I'm trying to make is, if I'm now worth, kind of going off on a tangent here, if I'm now worth, let's say like a Kevin Hart, like I'm worth X hundred millions of dollars, and I'm making all these moves in their entertainment circle, I may not have the ability to be as vocal as I want to be about something that maybe I do agree with, like a cause, because that may fuck up the machine.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I think, what happened to is that this boy, I forget the comedian's name, who got caught up in the whole
Nick Cannon?
Blackmail thing, where, he had the thing a few years ago, he got caught up in Vegas with the chick in the video. This is being Kevin Hart.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm trying to think.
I forget the guy's name. I should know this. But it came out, like, the story was, Kevin Hart had the tape come out, show him, like, getting down with a chick. And then the narrative was like, well, your pregnant wife's at home, what are you doing? But then it kind of shifted to like, well, I'm getting blackmailed by a friend for like X amount of money. And then that became, I'm kind of a victim. And whether right or wrong, it's like, well, at this point, he's got to think about his, like, the machine that he's running.
Self-preservation, the LeBron James thing. It's like I got to think about the machine that I got running, and people eat off this machine, not just me. If I make the wrong move or I say the wrong thing, there's punishment for everybody.
Right.
But somebody's got to be willing to do that, though. Everybody can't be in the same space where we're protecting the bag. Like if somebody, just like I think that because you're an activist doesn't mean that the brother next to you needs to be one just because that's what you believe in. Like there's different roles in society for everybody. Like somebody needs to be the earner. Like there needs to be earners and there needs to be people who are going to speak. Now, when you get backed by that earner, when that radical gets backed by a specific earner, that earner is basically co-signing what that radical is saying. So you're basically saying the same thing at that point, even though you haven't said a word.
Yeah, you could say that. You could. But then I wonder, is a radical then a little concerned? Because if someone's paying the bills, then they, to an extent, call the shots.
Right.
If you depend on them to eat, and they may not be completely on board with what with what you're pushing, they might go, "Hey, can you kind of taper this message back a bit?"
Could he be shadow funded? The way a lot of different things are shadow funded.
Yeah, like Jay-Z and Beyonce do a lot of like kind of like they won't directly put their name something, but they put funding behind certain things.
But when they put funding behind it, don't they have to declare?
They have ways of doing it to where it's like silent. Where they don't have to. I should say it a different way. I'm sorry. You could probably, to your point, if you were to look through like financial records, find out where the sources of the money is coming from. But they're not like on the front line going, "Hey, I'm donating to this cause." They just sort of do it behind the scenes and just like, "Hey, keep my name out of it."
True. Okay.
And
they could also do it through a person. Like somebody else could be donating, and it could really come from Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Yeah. A lot of that happens in other.
But none of that shit will ever happen because black people don't all think the same. We don't all run it. Like we're at a point in our own society where we don't all kick it the same way. We don't all have the same agendas. We don't all got Candace Owens out here.
Oh boy.
Shucking and jabbing for her white zaddy. Like, there's all different types.
Like, I tried to, like, I did try to, like, see her perspective on some things. But then I was like, wait, but the problem was in long-form conversation, there was no sort of thought outside of, like, whatever the talking point was. I was like, oh, you're just kind of reciting whatever you remembered.
Yep.
Not that I'm saying she's not smart. I don't know if she is or not.
She sounds like Fox News. She's not even that intelligent. And I don't understand why. It's just because she capes up for a conservative ideology that people back her.
If you speak a certain way...
She's a black person speaking up for conservatives. And
true.
That's kind of unique for some reason.
But if you know that, like, from my opinion, when you, like, the title of intelligence is usually garnered with a certain way of speaking and a certain, ability to articulate yourself. Whether or not, to your point, you could speak very well, articulate very well, but be saying nothing. But people by default be like, man, you know what, Tristan, he's a smart guy. And you're like, wait, he's not really saying anything.
Well, you know what? People who can articulate themselves and say nothing are doing so on purpose. So they're not stupid. They're actually pretty intelligent, I would say.
Or at least they know how to...
They know how to feed you that word salad. They know how to feed you that word salad and think you eating meat. It's Impossible Burger. That's what it is. They make you think you eating meat. Now, I think that's actually a skill to that. That's just PR 101. Like, I can say nothing and make you think something. But if I can catch the fact that you're saying nothing, yeah, that's when it's a problem. Like quarterback speak in NFL. Like, you're saying nothing. I've heard a lot of... Bears head coach, I hear a lot of nothing come out of his mouth, and you could tell. This is word salad. What did I actually get from this? Nothing.
You got to stave it. Yeah, but I feel you.
I got words for no reason is what I got. I got words with friends.
Yeah, like I do find myself routinely trying to like read the perspectives or listen to the perspectives of ideas I may not agree with.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make sure like I'm not falling into like that echo chamber where I only listen to things I automatically subscribe to. And two, to see like if it's genuine, because me and you, we agree on some things. Some things we don't agree on. But what I do like that you do is even if you don't agree on something, you will at least acknowledge it. Like, okay, I understand what you're saying. I don't agree, but you won't be like, yeah, I'm not hearing anything you're saying.
I think last week was a good like. We gonna have to rehash the whole conversation, but the point I was trying to make was one I didn't even agree with. Like, I don't agree that Black people are just defined by a struggle, and that's our experience. I don't, but a lot of people do. And whether or not I agree with it or not, it's a narrative. I don't have to subscribe to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to believe in it. It's still a narrative that's there, and therefore I have to be aware of it. Because if I'm not, then I'm not paying attention, so to speak.
Yeah, after I listened to it, I understood the point you were trying to make, and I think I misinterpreted what you were saying. So I was like, wait, what is he saying?
I do believe that perception is reality, just from the standpoint until it's being shown to you, it's not real for you. You made the example with the guy jumping at the guy and trying to recount it, and he recounted it differently. He recounted it differently because him in his mind, he thought it went the way he thought it went, and for him, it's real.
Yeah,
But it's not the truth per se. The truth is very vague, especially when there's no camera involved, a third party to be able to look at it. And
even situations like that, especially because it's like so much happening so fast. It's chaotic.
Even if you have a video, people look at videos all the time, and like you get a different perception from all three different angles. Like with the NFL, like they still don't know what a catch is. I think it's a catch, but that person over there doesn't think it's a catch because they're rooting for a different team. They have a different perspective, and they have a different side of things. So, I mean, it's all based off your vantage point. But that being said, you still got to be willing to accept other vantage points because I can't get a 3D view of this thing unless I listen to everything and shift through the noise. I can tell what's bullshit or what I think is bullshit, and that can be substantiated as bullshit. But I need to know your ideas because those ideas still exist. Those ideas about Obama still exist, although I don't agree with them. Those different ideas exist about Trump, even though I don't agree with them. Like, you still got to listen to that shit because I may be missing something. Because I'm just a man. At the end of the day, I'm just a man with opinions. Like, facts, I don't own facts. Facts are themselves. I only own opinions.
I would say the topic last week was probably a bit more hit closer to home because growing up in those areas with people who had those mindsets, I saw how it just limited them to even like trying.
Yeah.
And it's like I would say unless you have like a person who grew up with like no family, that's a huge thing to come over. Like that's real. Or you have some kind of cognitive or like physical handicap. Those are real things.
Yeah.
You can't discount those. But just seeing so many people who have like these talent that you can do, like you can really do amazing things, and just like not even try. It's frustrating because, like unfortunately, like we were saying before, we don't overall have the same cushion as being like the Black American community to like not try, especially if you're in a bad spot. Because if you don't try, like probably nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then if the generation after you, they're gonna be in that same spot. So
you're not being King Richard for sure.
You gotta try.
You not just fucking try. You gotta fucking think big. Like trying is just making it out the hood. But you want to succeed though. You don't want to just be out here trying or like. I mean, at least that's just my mindset. Is that I really want to be in a place where I'm thriving and not just existing.
But I think you can't. I agree. But I'm wondering, like, a person can't get to a place of thriving if they can't even see past tomorrow.
Like individually, like for our people, I understand equality. But from an individual basis, like I don't thrive for equality for myself. I thrive for superiority.
Oh,
like I have a superiority complex. It's just the idea that you want to be the best that you can be.
Okay.
All the fucking time.
Gotcha.
And people aren't always on that, trying to be the best they can be all the time. And you think that gives you an edge over them. And that's all you want. Because at the end of the day, we are competing. We are competing over the same space in a lot of different situations.
We're competing over the same.
It's kind of what capitalism or a hierarchy or class system does to you. Like you want this thing and they want that thing, but there's has and have-nots. It's always going to be that way. This isn't communism where we're all sharing the same pie. It's not. It's has and have-nots. And
there's so many people who are rich or at least well off or at least in stable environments.
So you better have the same mindset I have or sorry for you. It's not like I'm going to shit on you. It's if you ain't doing what I'm doing, if you ain't up at 1:30 in the morning thinking about shit, if you not hustling, you don't eat.
All right. I mean, yeah, that's a perspective. I hear you.
I'm not anti anybody or any way of thinking either. Like, if you feel like I should just be able to go to this job.
You're judging James Dash. You gonna work for somebody the rest of your life? You a sucker.
I mean,
another man putting food on
I've
your
always
table.
said that though. Like, it's not that you working for somebody. It's how do you feel about that? If you don't like it, then you're a sucker. If you're working for somebody every day and you don't like it, then you're being a sucker because you're not living your truth. You're not living your best life. Like, if you enjoy it, you get your pension at the end when you're done working, and you're happy with you got your retirement set up, and you love your boss, you love your job, you love what you're doing. That's fine. You've made it.
Right.
That's wealth in a way. That's being rich in your soul and your heart.
Yeah. If that's what you want,
that's all you wanted. But if you aspire for more and you're being safe, like I have been at times, and I'm hard on myself about it.
Everybody is, man. Taking risk is scary.
It's very scary.
Especially if you don't have a safety net. Like, I could, take 6 months to just do this thing I want to do that may generate no income for me. That's most people can't do that.
That's scary. And back to that Jeremy Renner shit. Like, I was just thinking, like, when I was in high school, coming out of high school, football was what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And I was coming off of I think senior year is when I blew my knee out. And so I was coming off of that. And I remember getting a call from Harper College because Quincy went up there. Quincy.
Yeah.
We're not going to give you the full name. But he was just like, come on up. I had the coach talk to you, and the coach was talking to me. They were like, we're full at running back. But how about you play DB? I'm like, bruh, I'm coming off a knee injury. The shit hurts. Like, I'm rehabbing, working out, and the shit hurts. And now you want me to change positions to a position where my legs are even more important? I was like, nah, I'm done with this shit, man. I'm done with football. I don't want to do this shit anymore. And that shit was hard. That shit was hard, giving up a dream that you were willing to sacrifice for. But then just realizing the doctor told me that because I blew out my knee, I'm more than likely going to have arthritis in that knee. So I just thought about future things like having children and running and playing with them and what quality of life I'd have. And reading more football specials about what type of quality of life football players have after their careers.
It's not pretty.
And I was like, nah, I'm cool. I don't want to do this anymore. I just made a smart decision for myself, I thought, but it was throwing away a dream that I had, a passion that I had, and I was identityless for a while.
Hey, you preaching?
Yeah, I don't even have an identity anymore. Like, I'm no longer the dude that plays football anymore. So who the fuck am I? So
that was your identity for so long. Big part of who you were.
Exactly. So I'm searching. I've been searching for something for a while. I haven't found it. I thought I found it with fitness, but then I tore my Achilles twice, and I was like, man, I don't want to do this shit no more. Like, using your body, like I would say, and this kind of breaks to one of our other topics with Brittany Renner. I just would never want that for my children. Like, I do think that prostitution should be legal. But I
agree. I'm laughing, but I agree. Sex work should be legal.
Sex work should be legal because it's just, to me, it's like athletics in the sense that you want to use your body for work. You're willing to sell your body for work. Same thing with being an athlete. You're selling your body for work. You're using your body for work. By the time you're done with your athletic career, it's going to take a toll on you. Whether you get paid for it or not, really, because I ain't got paid a dime. And I still I still deal with aches and bruises from just being a physical person, like being a personal trainer, working out 3-4 times a day because you got clients. Right. Some clients want you to work out with them. That's overuse. I'm doing things that I did legs yesterday, but this client is struggling with legs today, so I need to do some legs today. That's overuse. And I was doing a lot of that. Then trying to hoop. Nah, it's just too much. It's just too much.
So I know we're getting to the fun part of the show because we're getting closer to wrapping it up. So the Brittany Renner thing, for those who don't know, Deion Sanders, current coach at Jackson State University, brought her in to speak to his players about the realities of dealing with with women in the positions you may find yourself in.
So in other words, she was out here giving clout chasing 101. Because if anybody can give clout chasing 101, it's her ass.
See the video? They had like the music player, the motivational music.
Yeah,
like, you know who I am.
Yeah, we know who you are. You got a hoe on IG.
I mean, hoes are winning. Let me rephrase. It may not be every hoe is winning, but smart hoes are winning.
I think hoes have a place in our society. Some men might want to pay for it, and you know,
if the woman looks a certain way,
there's a successful. You know what? That's another thing.
Bread, you know, it is what it is.
Would you agree? I mean, you've been on Instagram. Would you agree? There's a template. There's a template for how women look. Like this is the same thing. It's the same aesthetic.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you fall into that aesthetic, girl, go get that bag. If a dude is dumb enough to fall for it, or if a nigga is dumb enough.
Some cats are like, yo, I have the money. I have no problem.
PJ Washington's fucked.
You think so?
He has to pay her child support.
Yeah.
And she doesn't even want anything to do with the nigga no more. She was just there for that. I would have never, bro.
See, that's the thing. I couldn't quite I couldn't quite determine if it was one of those things where it was a legitimate relationship, it didn't work out, and now she's like masking the fact that she's upset it didn't work out. I'm like, no, I don't care.
To me, she was flaunting that shit. Yeah, she was flaunting that shit.
But because I didn't know, I honestly didn't know who she was. And so I saw a few of the videos.
Maybe they dug each other. That's it. The
character.
That's the thing. Like, there's the difference between digging each other. At the point where you have a child together, you guys shouldn't just be digging each other. You guys should be in love with each other at least.
You should at least be like, all right, we're going to raise this. Yeah.
It's not even that, because that's like co-parenting. I mean, a love and respect for each other where I don't want to see you doing bad. Like,
I agree with you. I do. But to plan, like, you know, what you were telling me before, the perspective of sometimes, like, you think it's going to work out and it doesn't. You at least are like, all right, it didn't work out, but we're going to respect each other, want the best, and you know, raise the kid, even when we're not together.
Even if you don't like her, you got to have some love for her because you got a child.
Yeah,
that child is going to be half her.
You can't treat her like shit because the kid's going to see that and be like, well, why is he treating mom like that?
That's the cycle of having a deadbeat dad. And she's not helping the situation. She's creating, if he wants to be, I don't think he can be because of the money he makes in the profile. But you can still be a deadbeat dad and just give money. You still a deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fathering.
Yeah, you can give, yes, 100%.
So you're creating another deadbeat dad.
My bad. So she's saying she doesn't even want him like around the kid?
She wants to make it as difficult for him as possible because she doesn't give a fuck.
Damn.
I wouldn't even say that she wants to make it difficult. It's more of an apathy towards him because you didn't create a bond with him. You created a bond with his money.
And I guess that's why like I was like initially I was like, so is it like, I know she has the character where she's like, I'm the cute chick who all the guys want to mess with, and I'm gonna tell you up front, you probably can't afford me. I was like, okay, I get that's the character you do. That's your stick. But I was like, it seems like you legitimately are hurt that this didn't work out, and now you're kind of going back to like putting on the costume.
Maybe
that's the vibe I'm getting. Like, I really thought it was gonna work out, and for whatever reason it didn't. So I'm gonna pretend like, yeah, I don't care. That's right, it's stepdaddy season. I'm like, bitch, come on. Like, let's be honest. Just be like, you know what? I really thought we were gonna make it. It didn't work out. I'm sad about it.
I could do it better. Don't let anybody, I wouldn't say just any woman, don't let anybody have that kind of control over you. Like, even as a woman, and I can't tell women how to be women, although you got a lot of women out here trying to tell men how to be men, whatever.
Oh, man.
But
preaching.
But I say, if you have a kid, like if you with somebody, if you with a dude, having a kid by him, like, it gives him some sort of power over you for the next 18 years. Even though you feel like you raised a kid by yourself,
power over you?
In a way, you're always going to want that help. This child should have their father in their life.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
You cannot like this person or agree with the type of person that they are, but you slept with them one time, you get pregnant, and now this person is in your life for 18 years, or maybe not, but regardless of whether they are or not.
You need them.
You still got to, like, let's say you have kid, or she has kids with a man. He doesn't want anything to do with them. You want to move with your children or child. And you end up moving or looking at a home in an area where he resides. You don't want to do that because you don't want your children running into somebody that they can't see every day. Oh, ain't you my daddy? Why don't you? That's a whole nother like layer of hurt there.
Yeah.
I just feel like just be careful who you lay down with. Not necessarily who you have kids with, because I understand accidents happen. But you make decisions on who you lay down with, though.
True.
That's a decision. And I feel like you should be very careful.
Like me and my wife, that's a good point. Me and my wife debate about this kind of topic. Not debate, but have like, because she was like, are you saying women shouldn't like just do what they want their bodies? I'm saying no. I say the opposite. I say fuck as many dudes or women, whoever, or people who don't, non-binary, what the fuck people call themselves now? Trees. Just to that point.
I
but
love me a
just
good
to
tree.
Point, they never have limp. They never go limp.
Nope. With big branches.
Just like, do whatever you want. Fuck as many people as you want to. Just be smart.
Yeah.
Like, don't have kids. Be careful with the STD thing.
I don't think
smart.
I don't think fucking on the first night is something that, like, one night stands is kind of like really stupid.
What if both people are just vibing? That's how it plays out.
It's too much of a roll of a dice. Like, I need a little bit more about you.
I feel you on that. I understand what you're saying.
Like, back when I was dating, when I was going to go out with somebody, I want to get all in your Instagram account. I want to get your Facebook. I want to see what you're about. Just because if I met you on a dating app, I don't know you. You could be a killer. From a man, even from a man's standpoint, like, because it could be a whole scam. Like, it could be actually a dude behind the account trying to, rob you or whatever the fuck. Like, the internet is a place for a lot of chicanery? Whatever. I don't even think it's a word I should be using. But anyway, it's just a place for a lot of deception.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful. So I will want to do my homework.
Okay.
And then I find out, okay, you passed the looks test, maybe. I see what you're about. You're not about no foolishness, maybe. You have a kid. I want to see, how many times the baby daddy shows up in the pictures, because then that could be an issue one way or the other.
True.
I can't really tell you whether it's a feeling I get. I can't tell you whether I want him to be in the picture or not. It's just a feeling I get.
You just want to make sure. I would assume that like they're cool, but it's nothing more romantic, and he's not in a space where any guy you date that gets like potential serious, he's gonna be like, "Who was this dude around the kid?"
I don't want you to like him. I want you to not like him, but respect him because he's a good father to the kid.
You say you don't want him to like him. You mean like they don't like each other, or she just doesn't have feelings for him?
I can't stand him.
Damn, really? You wouldn't want them to be cool, like just friends, like legit, like just pure friends.
I don't like male. Like, I'm one of those dudes. I've been in relationships where it's been both ways. I don't necessarily like a bunch of male friends around, and I know I've dated a lot of women.
With your girl?
Yeah, and I know I've dated women who don't want a lot of women friends around me, even though.
I understand that. I get what you're saying.
So it's like, okay, I want to make sure that situation's controlled. I'm not saying don't have any, just controlled, and not like it's out of control where the dude is your friend, but he spends the night. What type of friend is that? What type of male friend is that? That's out of bounds.
If he's like, okay, I would say if he's like a childhood friend where they grew up together and it's really like whatever went down, if something did happen, it would have happened before.
No, never. I can't never, because it's comfort dick to me. That dick is around for comfort. And every time you get lonely, you'll put that dick comfort back on. I don't want that. I want that out of the situation. All right. So I'm checking all that, so that when I do meet you, and then the meeting, like, the first time I date somebody, especially if it's off a dating app, that sex isn't even in the, like, this is me. I'm a guy. Sex isn't even in my brain.
So you're saying, like, you meet her, you're vibing, dinner's going well, all things like
I'm taking you home, and I'm going home, and I'll beat my dick.
And if she says, like, hey,
it's safe.
Come back to my spot, you're gonna be like, I'm sorry, I gotta go beat my dick, man.
Yeah, I can't.
You're beating.
I'm beating my dick.
Like, I'm gonna call it a night.
I don't trust it. I don't trust people. I can't trust. Yeah, exactly. She showed it look good. Like, I'm not.
Singing Marcel Jordan lyrics when you whacking. Y'all think you meant to say that, but I was like, was that the Marcel Jordan lyric?
Yep, that's in my mind.
You putting on music? You about to get it tonight.
I've told somebody I do full role playing by myself when I masturbate. Yeah, it's a thing.
Wait, you're like, okay, you know what? I don't even want to go on this road.
No, you don't.
Okay, we got so, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Cut me off.
I was going to say, so you're saying, just to wrap up the Brittany Renner thing, you don't like the idea of like an Instagram model chick explaining to guys that it is what it is.
I think if there's anybody who's going to do that, it's her. But I just don't like the idea of the clout chaser at all. I've maintained that throughout my life until I die. I just don't like what she stands for. But if anybody's going to give her that spiel, it's going to be her. She's probably the most qualified. I think that she has a PhD in it. Ever since I've seen her, and it's been a good probably, I want to say 8 to 10 years. She's been on Instagram being a clout chaser. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Last topic. So I was telling you before. Apparently, scientists have created robots that are able to reproduce. I can give you the details. But what are your initial thoughts?
Another win for the trannies. For the trannies.
Wait, what?
Another win for the trannies. That's the one thing that people have been holding over, transgenders' head is that you can't reproduce.
Oh, these are robots.
I know.
Oh, okay.
You're creating another artificial way. Like you give it more credence to artificial reproduction. You're giving less credence to natural reproduction.
I didn't even think about like that. Maybe like a.
That's the first thing I thought about when you said robots reproducing. It's like, oh, that's not the definition of a woman because a robot can reproduce too. Bet. Now we on this now.
I mean, they use the term robot. It's a loose term. It's more of they took the cells, some type of like West African frog, and used a supercomputer to teach the cells how to create a shape that lets it reproduce more effectively. And
weird science.
So it's like I was like, oh, okay. It's not really. I mean, it's robot in the sense of it's an external thing that's following human commands. That's what I was like. Well,
sounds like weird science. Sounds like science run them up.
But the last, like you said something very interesting. I know we got to wrap it up. It's funny you said that thing about, there's a female. There's a video where a woman is like, she doesn't want people to use the terms like female and male because that's like exclusionary. You should use terms like people that can reproduce, people that have like
fuck out of here. Male and female.
I was like,
men and women. Stop doing that. Y'all already got they and there, and y'all one person. Stop doing that.
I think it's too hard to be like that woke. I feel like it's constant.
First of all, woke isn't the. I'm willing to say woke is the thing. Isn't a thing. It's something co-opted by the other side now to be able to classify people and to write people off. Yeah, it's. I would stop saying it. Especially as a black man.
I never articulated that, but yes. What you just said is exactly what I've been feeling about that term lately.
It's like when you say something that sounds liberal or challenging to the conservative, you one of them woke people, huh? I guess you're woke, huh?
It's kind of like
woke mob.
Use vaxxer or use like alt-right. It's like
it's politicized.
Yep. Okay.
It's politicized. And that vaccine shit, like I can't question the vaccine without being called an anti-vaxxer, although I'm vaccinated. I'm vaccinated, I should say. Vaccinated. I'm vaccinated. Like, I don't understand why you still learn. Like, it's just, when people hear certain things, they hurl out criticism. It's like a function. Oh, I hear this. It's challenging my way of thinking. Oh, you must be this person. No, I'm actually somebody who just thinks. I just think about things, period. My girlfriend will tell you, I look up random facts. She says I sound like school all the time because I just spew shit at her. And she'll be like, and then, like, she goes through my phone and she's gone through my browser history.
That's got to be awkward for the porn stuff. Why are you looking at bukkake hentai?
No, it's not a problem. I do something to make sure that that's not a problem. And it's more or less because I don't want, like, if you search for porn on your phone, and you don't do incognito window, they're just taking all that browser information and funneling it to you in your social media, and I don't want that.
Yep.
I don't need that. I just need to get off right quick. I don't want this shit in my life all over me. Like, I know what you mean. So I do it incognito. But anyway, she goes through my browser history, and I just have windows up of searching like random shit. So I just like to think about different things. Don't just mean you just lump me into a category. I have looked up and read about pedophilia. Doesn't call me now I'm a pedophile.
Now be careful, because you're probably on some FBI database. Like, okay, guys, that's 3 articles. He's on the list.
Articles, not pictures. It's a difference. There's no kiddie porn on my phone.
I hope not. You won't get a knock on your door, Playboy. Not that I'm saying you are, but I feel like people get flagged going to certain sites.
I'm afraid of that. Like, I want to read about it so I'm more aware, so I know what's around me, but I don't want to be suspected of this activity. And I think there's a difference between somebody who looks up, like, what does pedophilia mean? What does the different types of pedophilia mean? As opposed to, how does that little girl look in this dress?
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, okay, wait, it's a difference between like educating yourself as opposed to now you're kind of looking for a good time.
Now you're being a suspect. Hella sus.
So I would say just local group Black Mavericks did drop their project. And disclaimer: I do know one of the guys.
Nice.
It's pretty dope. I liked it. Yeah.
Did he? Somebody followed us the other day.
That might have been them. I don't know.
BK on the beat.
I don't know who that is.
We have random followers. Check that out.
I Am Tabitha Brown. That was a good book. I just finished that.
Okay.
I'm reading Will Smith's book now. It's pretty good so far. And I'm doing...
Are you reading them or are you listening to them?
So I listen to Tabitha Brown because I like her Southern voice.
Okay.
That counts as reading in my mind. I'm reading Will Smith's
Did your
book.
wife know you like her Southern voice?
Not like that.
I'm just messing with you.
I don't got a thing for like middle-aged Southern ladies with afros.
Wow.
I'm not saying she's a hideous woman or anything, but like I ain't in that.
It's not his type, y'all.
No. But she's a sweet lady. She seems to be very, very genuine, and it's good to see people who have a different sort of persona starting to win in the Hollywood space.
For sure. Because Hollywood is usually a template. Now it's being more of a rainbow.
But
all right, so that's been another edition of Deuce's Wild. We'll be back at you in a couple weeks.
Stay wild
or woke.
All right.